So I know it's been a while since my last video. I've just been working really hard and building up my portfolio, working on some other things, but I am back. Today I'm just gonna kind of take you all through my typical character design process. I made a bird warrior character and I'm gonna show you how I went from the start to the finish with this character. The first thing that I do is make a backstory for my character, and I elaborate on what the purpose is that I'm making the character for. I will look at references. So if I'm making like a cat character, some kind of anthropomorphic cat character, I will look at a reference of a cat and look at different proportions of the human body. Once I have my references, I'll start going into the rough sketches or the outlines and silhouettes of the character. More references, basically going back to references and refining the design, starting to decide what the character is really going to look like, and just branching off with different versions of the character. And after I have all those versions, I will move on to the final details, really just zoning in on that one design and making sure everything looks good. And I'm going to show you what that looks like with my character, and her name is Jaydora, and she's a bird warrior. Let's get started. I was just trying to get Jaydora's color palette and the imagery that I would be using to make her outfit, as well as the period in which she lives in, just some of the context that would help me know how to design her armor. Here is me just making the backstory for Jaydora, and this is all based on a character design challenge by this company and site called Character Design References. I also was looking at the personality traits that I wanted Jaydora to have. She's brave, she's cunning, she's hot-headed. Later I also added kind, and these details are really important when it comes to the physical aspects of the character, what shape language I'm trying to use, what colors I'm trying to use. All of that I wanted to be integrated into her personality. So here I'm just looking at a reference of a blue jay, which will be the bird that her design is going to be based on, and I'm looking at an average young adult female to help me have some realistic proportions, and I'm just using it as a guide. So as you can see, the proportions aren't super realistic. The head, as heads usually are for cartoonized characters, it's pretty big than what a real life head would actually be, and some other things are a little different, but it was really helpful to see these references to make sure when you looked at her you could tell that she is both based on a blue jay and on a realistic version of female proportions. So right here you can see I'm actually starting to make one variation of Jaydora's design, and this second design that I'm working on is based on this comic book called Tove, and it's a very fun comic book for kids where the characters have very big feet. Everything is looking like the proportions of a child, kind of, and I was just trying to play around and make her look more a little bit more cartoony than the first version of my design. When you start your rough sketches and designs for your characters, there are two main ways that you can go about it. The first way is to do a sketch, which is what I normally do. I just sketch out the character and their body, but I have been learning that just filling in a character and seeing their overall silhouette can be helpful to help you make important decisions about the shape language of the character and the parts of their costume that you really want to stand out. So I ended up just going back and forth between sketching and making silhouettes for these characters, but both are very important. I had a huge conflict while I was making her design on whether or not I would give her hair. I ultimately decided not to. Although she's a female, I did not want her to be looking too human, and I wanted to make sure that she really did look like a bird. So I ended up just dropping that idea. And as you are designing your characters, you may have some ideas that you want to play with. I feel like I could have played with the idea of her having hair more, but early on I just decided that I didn't want to give her hair. I really wanted to make her look like a blue jay, but it would have been interesting for me to have pushed that further. So it's always great to just explore, even if you feel like a decision might not work out in the end. It could be helpful for designing other characters for your story, or just learning, why things look good or don't look good. So this is the first design where I really felt like I was starting to capture Jaydora's personality, her hot-headedness, I also wanted to make her look very graceful, very feminine. So this design that I colored in right here is where everything started to just come together. Once you start getting somewhere where you really like the way that your character looks, it can be hard to add more because you don't want to mess anything up. And I was originally just gonna leave her armor silver. I saw, in my mind I envisioned her being blue and then her armor just being silver, but then I was like, maybe she needs more color. So I started to put more color on her. And since she's a little hot-tempered, I thought red would be a good color to emphasize that. So I started playing around and red became the secondary important color in her design. The next thing I had to do was make sure that the red was not competing with the blue, that it would be the second most important color. And to do this, I played around with the amount of red that I had. I just wanted to try putting a lot of red and then a little bit of red and seeing what the difference was. So I had two designs that had a lot of red, and it was just very, very distracting. So in the next design, I minimized the amount of red and I turned down the brightness on the red, or I just added more black to the red to make it darker, and this worked really well. Alright, so here I'm getting into the final design. I really like the colors, I really like the style, I really like the portrayal of her personality. So I'm just doing some final changes, making sure that I have the design that I'm most satisfied with. Okay, so I have my final design of Jaydora. Yay! Now what I have to do is make a accurate turnaround of what she would look like from all sides. And it's not particularly my favorite thing to do when I'm making characters, but it is very helpful when I have to redraw them in my stories. So I had to do this, and I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. The only part of the turnaround that I did not finish at this moment was the back view of Jaydora, and that's just because I ran out of space on this page, so I eventually need to go back and do that. But everything else, the side view, front view, and the quarter view, all of those, the main views, I had completed. Doing the front view of Jaydora's face really gave me clarity on how to integrate an element of Native American influence. I gave her some face painting, and that was really great in my design because I did want it to make, I did want her design to have Native American influence. So doing this turnaround actually did help me make some final changes to this design, which I feel really added to her overall appeal and some clarity on her cultural background. it is time for my favorite part, the character illustration. So for Jaydora's character illustration, I just went ahead and used a pose that I really liked from Pinterest. I could have made everything from scratch, but who has time for that? While there's already amazing poses all over the internet you can just grab and edit. I also made a background for her, and I did do that from scratch, so I'm pretty proud of it. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. I really had fun making it, and if you would like to see more videos from me, please, like, subscribe, and, maybe share the video with anyone who is interested in character design. I'm trying my best to upload videos as much as I can. I am working on different projects, as I mentioned, and I'm excited to share those with you in the future, so, stay tuned, and hopefully I'll have a video next week. Dream big, live bold, and keep on creating. I'll see you all next time.